Hello. Well, this is the Korbanth Rebel Blockade Runner model modified into Han Solo's pirate ship painted by John Simmons. John asked me would I build this for him because there'll be a few modifications needed done to it. And this being 2020 in the middle of a lockdown, I ordered an Elegoo Mars 3D printer and started printing out bits and pieces to add to this. This pipework here is actually aluminium jewelry wire. It's really easy to bend and manipulate into shape. I've seen people using brass for this. I'm actually using this now for Y-wing builds as well. We stereo mini jack for power. Some nice outdoor shots. It was a lovely summer that year. At this point, it was just going to be the Blockade Runner. There was no modifications in mind. That's why the docking rings are glued on. It was around this time that conversations with John, the topic came about, is there any possible way this ship could be modified into the pirate ship? So even though the docking rings were attached there, I removed them and did casts of them because the pirate ship didn't have any details in that part. So I cast them instead of actually drilling out the actual parts because I wanted to be adaptable so that if John decided to change it back into the Blockade Runner, he still could. At this point, we sort of realized that the D'Agostini cockpit would be in scale in turning this into the pirate ship. So I did a cast of the D'Agostini cockpit, and then eventually I bought another 3D printer and printed the neck. So I was pretty happy with this, although the D'Agostini cockpit cone was a bit longer than the 5-footer style, which is a bit stubbier. So I did another cast, didn't want to destroy this one, and I 3D printed. It's a file that Josh Maruska had put up, just the front part, and I cut off the original front part of the D'Agostini cast cone and put this stubbier nose part on, and you can see there the two casts beside each other. It's a good bit shorter. So I was much happier with this. It's the same sort of profile as what the 5-footer had, roughly. So I designed an interior, which is just made out of a Land Rover kit, my 148 scale Land Rover kit, trying to stay in style of the original 5-foot cockpit. So I still ploughed ahead with the original hammerhead, and then I tried to do a cast of the wee pods, which are like guns, but I think they were the original escape pods. So I did a cast of one of those and then designed the wee nozzles and the 3D printed the top of that. So next then was the radar dish. So we used a D'Agostini radar dish again. Did a cast of it, 2-part mold, turned out pretty good. Actually injected the resin into that, so it turned out okay. And then I just fabricated like a stand. I ended up using the original radar dish base, did a cast of that, and then drilled out the middle of it. So a more traditional turntable type of Falcon radar dish could sit down inside it. It was made out of card and added greeblies around the outside of it. So again, this wasn't destroying the original part. John could decide which one to use, the round or the rectangular dish. So as far as lighting goes for the engines, I didn't really want to attach these engines, mainly because of postage, and also I wanted John to be able to get in and paint maybe the back of these engine nozzles. So I sort of made like a cassette so that these could slide on. And then I used LEDs with like wee lenses I bought on eBay just to sort of magnify the light. I made the cockpit interior removable, so John could actually take that out and paint it and put it back in again, and it's held in with magnets. I put fibre optics into the pirate ship cockpit so the dash would light up a wee bit. Also, there was a funny wee cone part which was on the starboard side of the pirate ship. I've worked it out that this was actually a Harrier part, so scaling it down I was able to order one just off eBay. It's a wee resin part. The original Harrier part was 124, so this would have been 148, so it's about half the scale. So again, all this had to be detachable so that John could paint the interiors, so it's everything all slots together like cassettes. So here we have some actual video footage which I shot just before I sent it off to John. So that's the cover coming off and the detachable cockpit interior. I made this so it would have like sort of a guide, a runner for it to slot back in again, and it's held in with magnets, and so is the cover. It's just a couple of wee magnets on it. The connections for the power for the lights in the cockpit is just stereo mini jack and socket. And I actually replaced some of the pipe work in this here, the actual tubing, with just plumbers sort of pipes. So it meant then that the pirate ship one and this one both fitted, they just slid in. So those are the original guns and the original dish. Slotting on, as I said, the engines, so it's easy for John to paint those. You can paint them right round the back of them, whatever, and then just slot those on and then super glue them or epoxy them, whatever he wants. They're not 100% level, so whenever you glue them you'll maybe have to hold them to make them level. And that's a stereo mini jack socket at the bottom, which is ran with 5 volts USB. Take it apart again and we'll change it into the pirate ship. So as I said, same stereo mini jack socket, and the same width of pipe. And then the guns come off and are replaced with escape pods. I'm not actually too sure what John did with these, whether he glued them on or used magnets. I know he used magnets for the upper turret and maybe the radar dish, I'm not too sure. I think he actually just glued on the radar dish, but the wee inner part rotates. And then the cockpit cone just goes on. And the plain docking ring covers. And that's it really. Then I got it packed up and it sent it over from Northern Ireland to England. And I really love this paint job. It is truly beautiful. He did a fantastic job.